All right, everybody. This is not the actual live stream that I put up for my website or I've been promoting right now. Something's wrong with it not my phone, which I record from, not connecting with the actual stream that I scheduled. So I'm not sure about how that's going. So I'm gonna try to let everybody know to. So give me one moment here. I gotta let everybody know we're on over here. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of get started here just to introduce everybody real quick. This is basically going to be episode 1 of our live with t.U.G on Wednesdays. We're going to try to do this regularly on Wednesdays and get together with all you guys and try to do a live stream, kind of connect and see what's going on with the gardens, see what's going on with your gardens, and do that sort of thing. So hopefully we'll get some of these technical things taken care of and we'll be able to just link right up and that sort of thing. I'm not too sure what's going on, so I'm kind of frustrated a little bit trying to get on here and everything. So hopefully here in a minute or two we'll get everything kind of situated and get everybody over here. I know there's a couple of people that are on the other stream right now wondering where I'm at, so hopefully they'll find themselves over here. And so basically, I just kind of want to get started here with everybody and kind of go over some things that we've been doing here on the channel here. I've been kind of busy doing lots of traveling around here recently, getting to do some things that were really fun and some things that everybody will get a chance to see here real soon. Here, let me see. There we go. So hopefully everybody will find their way over here. Yeah, so before I get on talking about all of that sort of stuff anyways, I just kind of want to talk about some of the things that we've already been up to getting this season started. I've already put out a couple of videos here recently. We got our container potatoes started out. I just put that episode out the other day. So that's gonna be really interesting to see how that turns out. I'll have kind of a little update on that coming up here real soon in some episodes, as we'll do like maybe a little tour around or something like that, and we'll get a chance to see how those are doing. They're already kind of popping up above the soil now, so looking forward to hopefully getting a good crop of those this season. It's just a challenge that I'm taking on in these gardens. I haven't been too successful over the last couple of seasons growing them out of containers, and I plan on defeating these potatoes in containers and having a nice crop yield this year. So hopefully that'll happen, and we'll all get to share with that later on. Let me know that you're on there. I'm checking the chat window right now, so say hi. Let me know where you're at, where you're from, and hopefully everybody else will be able to get on here from that other stream. It's a real bummer. I had set that out and promoted it and everything, and I just can't get it to connect with the I don't know, whatever scheduled stream setup that I had. I did a live stream a few weeks back ago, and everything just worked out perfect. I was really confident today that I'd just get right on there and everything would just be happening. So I don't know, we'll see. So hopefully those people who are being led to that other stream will be able to find their way over here. Let's see, we got Shelly. Hi, Shelly. How are you doing from Aurora, Colorado? Is that Zone 5B? So what are you growing out there in Aurora, Colorado, Shelly? 5B, though, in Colorado? let's see here. I'm gonna try to see if I can't. Find everybody. I apologize to everybody right now. I just know people are on this other scheduled stream, and I need to be able to make sure they can find their way over here. Okay. Okay, so real quick here, sorry. Please. Alright, so hopefully, okay. It's been tough. Oh yeah, I know how that felt actually just leading up to right up a couple of weeks ago before I headed out for a small vacation. It was just relentless. The cold weather, it kept trying to snow off and on and everything. So I know what you mean there. You got a colder zone, so expected that you have just a little bit more cold weather to go through here until you can get your growing season going. But hopefully that'll all seed back and you'll be able to have a really good garden going here real soon. Maybe you got some seedlings getting started and we're getting ready to go out. Anything that you grow maybe during the cold weather or anything too. Got any garlic in the ground or anything? I've got a bunch of garlic that's growing right now. It's all looking really, really good too. I was really worried about it a little bit a couple of weeks ago. It just didn't seem like it was growing the way I was normally used to the last several seasons of my garlic growing, but they just seem to bounce right up and they're growing really great here now. So I'm really looking forward to some really good garlic coming up this season. So anyways, like I said, this is going to be something that I want to try to do every single week. Get a chance to hang out with everybody who's subscribed to the channel and to be able to talk about different things that are going on with different videos. Maybe people have some questions they might want to ask while we're here on a live stream, and we can discuss certain things going on with the different videos. And, you know, some chance to just kind of get a little more in depth about some of the things going on with them. I put out an episode today, actually, just a little bit earlier. So I hope everybody, when they're done with the live stream, goes back onto the channel page and checks out the new episode that we have out today. I've got an episode on a rain barrel. So we're collecting rainwater. So I put together a good rainwater collection system for the back patio area there to collect rainwater off of the roof. And so I put together a nice little how-to video on how I put that sort of thing together. So I thought the video turned out really well. So I hope everybody gets a chance to go check that out and see that video. And hopefully maybe it'll help give you some ideas or something like that to be able to utilize catching rainwater for yourself. Something about rainwater too, I kind of discuss a little bit in the video, is that there's a big misconception out there about being able to collect rainwater. Now, mind you, there are probably small jurisdictions here and there where they do have probably some sort of restrictions, and there's a couple of states that have certain restrictions, but they're always kind of lightening them up, and those sort of laws are always changing. It really is pretty much legal most all over the country to be able to collect rainwater in a simple off of your house type of catchment system. So that's something I encourage people to do, is especially in some of those warmer climates and stuff, is to be able to utilize that whatever precious rain that you have that's coming off of your roof system there, to collect it up, use that water in your gardens. You always know what it's like after a nice rain when you see your plants look just really nice and vibrant. They really like a nice rain. So you might as well kind of push that along a little bit further for when it's not raining and save some of that rainwater for your garden. So it's a really cool video. I hope everybody gets a chance to check that out. Let's see. Shelly says, I have plenty started indoors. My raspberries to a hit with the cold weather. Yeah, raspberries, mine are just starting to pop back up after this last year and looking really good. So hopefully I'm gonna get some raspberries this year. I transplanted mine last year and I don't think they really liked the transplanting I did. I actually took them out of the ground and put them into a container and really kind of tried to contain them and to hold them back a little bit. But even in that container, I don't think that's actually even gonna work with raspberries. They're really prolific. They'll find their way out of the drain holes. They'll send roots out, and I'm sure that raspberries will get growing on the outside of this container coming up here pretty soon. But so far this year, they're looking really green, look really nice. So looking forward to my raspberries as well too. It's good to hear that you got good raspberries. One of my favorite fruits like that, or berries anyways, I'm sorry. I love the videos for rainwater. It's finally legal to gather rainwater in Colorado. See, there's some places where it has been kind of illegal to, or have certain types of restrictions, and those are certainly mostly restrictions on gathering rainwater. But for most people in general who are just trying to collect off of their house instead of trying to do like big, large collection systems, or even in the case of a guy here in Oregon I talked about a little bit in the video, he was trying to divert and collect large amounts or divert rainwater or runoff or whatnot into large systems that was really kind of environmentally something that he needed permits for and stuff like that, and would have needed permission for. So a lot of people took that story as to mean that you couldn't collect rainwater in general, but you actually can in those sort of jurisdictions and places like Shelly's at in Colorado. Even though they might have restrictions, are starting to learn to kind of loosen those up and allow for people to be able to collect rainwater. So even if you think it's illegal, check and make sure. Call your local city up, and find out for sure. See if there's some information that they might be able to pass along as far as that goes. But in general, I wouldn't even bother with calling. I just set it up anyways and wait for somebody to let me know I can't have it. So hopefully I keep it hidden away a little bit, but in my case I don't really have to worry about that. So mine's kind of out in the open. I don't have to necessarily worry about that. Let's see here, what do we got? All right, Nancy, you're here. You made it over. See, that's what I was trying to explain a little bit earlier as I was getting started with the video. Kind of frustrated there a little bit because I couldn't get the scheduled stream that I had set up, and I've been promoting actually through Facebook and other places, and yeah, it has a link to go to that stream. So it's kind of unfortunate that we were kind of getting off to the wrong start here with this stream or live stream Wednesdays that I want to do. So I'm glad you made it over. I hope everybody else is getting a chance to do that too. I haven't really checked here again. Let me see. So yeah, I don't know if seems that whoever was there has either found that out or whatnot. So yeah, collecting rainwater, that's a really good thing. I've actually, since I set the rainwater collection system up, it's rained several times, and I've been able to use some really good rainwater, and it seems to work really well, going from the bottom one or the top one to the bottom one as I kind of refill the bottom one as I use it. So that little system works out really well. I'm not too sure how long that into the dry season that I'm going to be able to store and save the amount of water I have. It could get used up pretty quick. So we'll kind of see how that goes as the season goes. But for the most part, I think it's just a really cool thing to do, to be able to utilize in the urban gardens to be able to collect some of our rainwater. So let's see. Yeah, there's an issue with collecting rainwater is it can be standing water, and in standing water you're gonna get mosquitoes, and mosquitoes are gonna grow out of that standing water. Um, I'm not too sure. I think they might have treatments or something like that, which I wouldn't necessarily want to actually do. I've never really looked into that sort of thing. Something I might have to look into as I see. But hopefully, I have my kind of closed up well enough. And like I said, maybe I'm just using it in, I'm not sure. It's just something I'm going to have to actually look into. It's a really good question about the mosquitoes. All right. So yeah, I've got some other cool episodes we've got coming up too. I've got a really cool interview I did with a friend of mine from Norway, Christopher Bransdal, and we did this cool little connecting through kind of like a Skype-like thing, and he set up a cool little urban gardener graphic for us and everything, and we got to do a really cool interview with him. So I'm kind of editing that video right now, and I'm hoping that we'll get to put that out this Friday. So that's kind of a really cool, neat little interview from across the world. So Christopher does some really cool gardening up in Norway and has, some really cool indoor gardens and does some really neat stuff with the limitations that he has to live with in growing in the mountains of Norway. He's got a really short outdoor growing season, but he does the best that he can with it and grows some really great stuff. He's actually got a cool geothermal greenhouse that he's got some videos on that if you check out his channel or and see the interview. I'll have links and all that stuff on the video upcoming up and everything. He's got some really cool stuff that he does there in Norway. I get jealous of his indoor gardening skills too. He really grows some cool things you wouldn't even think about growing in Norway, like bananas and all that sort of stuff. So, and he does some really cool stuff with succulents and all that sort of stuff. It's just great gardener, and we had a really fun time having an talking and interviewing him for the channel. So I'll be putting together that video here over the next day or two, and hopefully have that out on this Friday for everybody. And that's kind of going to be the way it's going to be, I think, for the next coming couple of weeks. Is I'm going to be putting out more videos than I usually do. Usually I'm hitting maybe once a week and sometimes a little less than that, but I try to get around once a week for putting out a video, and that's my main ultimate goal. But we're definitely going to be getting videos probably at least twice a week, maybe even 3 times a week over the next couple of weeks, just because I've had some stuff just kind of get backlogged up because of other things that I've been busy with and haven't had the chance to be able to really sit down with some of the material that I collected in order to put the videos together. So, especially with this trip I just took too, I've got a lot of video stuff to be able to go through and put together. So hopefully in the next week or so, or by this next week, we'll be delving into some of those videos, as well as trying to stay and keep up with what's going on here at the gardens here too, because I got a lot of stuff growing and getting going. We got peppers and tomatoes that I've got to put together a video on. It's gonna be a little bit different video than what we've done the last couple of years, because I don't want to necessarily kind of go over some of the same things that I've been talking about in videos in the previous years. So if you're really interested in some of the peppers and the tomato stuff that I did, I really encourage you to go back and check out some of those videos that I already put out and stuff too. So there's some really cool stuff there as well. And if you haven't, and you're new to the channel, please, by all means, I really encourage you to go check out some of those older episodes I got. Some of them are still really fun, and some cool stuff I've got to go and check out and do, or people I've got to talk to and interview, and especially the National Heirloom Expo stuff. The 3 videos I did this last year was really fun, besides the just one video I did the year before. So those videos are really fun. So I really encourage any of you who are new to the channel to go back and check out some of those videos, give them some thumbs up and comments too. Comments are really important. I really like to have that interaction and to help kind of move those videos along on the YouTube algorithm and help the channel get out there a little bit more. We really need those, thumbs ups and comments and whatnot. And and another thing too, which I was reminded of on my trip, one of the people I met up with and did an interview with had a daughter who has a little YouTube channel that she put together and stuff. And one of the things she was reminding me too about her intro that she does for her videos and stuff is to mention about notifications. They have a cool bell notifications there next to the subscribe button, where if you hit it, you'll get notified when new episodes of The Urban Gardener come out. So if you're interested in seeing the new episodes as they come out, or at least knowing that they're there, instead of having to go and search through your subscription page, hit that notification bell and be notified when our newest videos come out. Let's see here. Advice on getting your compost, like your compost pile, to kind of get it hot again. Shelly, I don't have, like, and really haven't had the ultimate chance of having a really nice big compost pile, which is something I really hope for someday if I get a bigger piece of property and I'm able to have bigger gardens and bigger space and whatnot. I've got a couple of small little compost things, but they don't necessarily, I don't think, get too hot ultimately. I just let them kind of compost over time, which really kind of works well. So I leave them sit for a year or so and they just kind of break down, and everything seems to work really well that way. But I would just suggest, from what I've seen on other videos and stuff, maybe just kind of making sure it's turned, and you've got plenty of what would they say, like brown material versus green material in there, and make sure you've got a good mixture of all of that. It's a compost tumbler. See, that's what I want too. That's what I really need, actually, is a compost tumbler. I was just visiting with someone who's got a bunch of them, and I was getting to check them out and see how they worked, and those are pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. I just keep adding some stuff in there, just some, I think, equal amounts of, like, brown material, like leaves and things like that, versus the actual food scraps that you're putting in there too. And Jason, hi Jason, how are you doing? Where are you from? And where are you gardening from there? Watch Craigslist for them. Set up a search. That's how I found them. That's a good idea, and that was actually the advice I was given by the person who had the compost tumblers, because that's where they got a couple of theirs from. And so I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye out, and Craigslist and other places, to see if I can't find myself a really good compost tumbler for us around here, and then I'll get a chance to be able to do a video on that and get some sort of personal experience in handling compost, and be able to give some better advice. It's one of the things I like to make sure I mention to everybody who is and hasn't watched very many of the videos that I do and everything. Not an actual garden expert or have a complete knowledge in some of these things. I am a gardener I've been gardening for several years. I've been doing different things, and I'm always trying new things. And as we say on this channel, we're out for a garden adventure, and that's kind of what we're doing. We're kind of going along with some of the things I'm getting to try and learn and check out and build up and put together here in the urban garden, and see how those sort of things work out, and kind of follow along with those sort of things, and get that kind of experience along with me as I'm learning some of this stuff too. And I always try to pass out the best information that I know from where I'm at this point in time. But I spend a lot of time right here on YouTube, and on other forums and whatnot with other gardeners, and trying to learn more and more about gardening every chance that I get. I really enjoy the YouTube format and the fact that so many people can get out there from so many different places and different zones, and to be able to show all these different types of gardening skills that people have and whatnot, and get those sort of information on particular things. And that's the great thing about YouTube, is to be able to check out all of us out there who are sharing some of this stuff. And once we get it figured out, I like to pass along that the best information I have and everything. And if things don't work out for me, I'll definitely share that with everybody as well too. I mean, that's kind of going back to the potato episode that I just did a couple of videos ago. The last couple of years, if you go back on those videos and check it out, we get these great awesome potato plants growing and everything, and at the very end I dig them out and it ends up becoming somewhat of a bit of a disappointment. You know, I've only get so much of a yield out of those potatoes, but I'm determined to make changes and do the things that I need to in order to improve that growing situation for those and get the best yield possible. So that's hopefully something people will find fun to be able to kind of follow along with and see how that works out for me. Um, there's just so many things about gardening though too. That's what makes gardening so fun, is that there's just different ways and different processes to gardening out there that I always tell people just to give it a shot, give it a try. If you're thinking about, whether or not something will work or not, just see and experiment a little bit with your garden. And, you never know. Sometimes, you get advice out there from some people, and they tell you, no, don't do this, or no, don't try that, because, because of certain things that they've learned and whatnot. And I've found several times where I've tried things and done some things. I talked about it a little bit on the last live stream about growing tomatoes and cucumbers next to each other, that people say that you can't do that, they don't like each other, and they kind of don't grow that well. Well, I gave it a shot anyways. I grew it and I got great tomatoes. I got great cucumbers from what I had grew. So in some sense, there's those sort of things that maybe, in some other people's experience, it works for them that way, and other people's experience, it works for them a different way. And so that's why we always have fun, and we adventure a little bit in the garden, and try different things out, and do the best we can with the stuff that we have. Let's see here. Anybody got any more questions or anything that they want to ask about? I kind of wanted to just make this live stream kind of just an initial kind of not too long. I don't want to carry on and go on and on about a lot of different stuff. I just kind of wanted to welcome people to what we're going to be doing here on Wednesdays. Is just kind of getting together, getting a chance to conversate between you and I, and to be able to talk about some things, ask some questions, and see, test my knowledge on some of these things in the garden and whatnot, or, explore with me in different ways that maybe you do things in the garden too that might be helpful to me in my garden. That'd be something really great in the exchange that we'll get here on Wednesdays. Is hopefully I get the connections better, but for the most part, let's just make sure that, I'm going to set up a scheduled stream again and see if I can't figure out what went wrong there. We'll get that done next time. But if you're watching this stream and looking forward to checking out the one next Wednesday, just maybe keep an eye on the main YouTube page for right around the time 5 o'clock, and see whether or not that schedule one works. Because if it doesn't, I'll do again what I did this time, and I'll just start a live stream from there. And then if it becomes a problem and I can't figure it out, then that's probably what we'll end up doing, is I'll just start a live stream right at 5 o'clock, and hopefully people will be able to kind of get in tune with the fact that that's something that we're going to do regularly. Barring the fact that I'm going to be out of town or doing something otherwise, I will try to let everybody know ahead of time when that sort of thing happens, and maybe we'll try to do something in place of that. I'm not too sure exactly what we're going to do there, but I do want to make this just kind of a regular thing so that we can kind of get a chance to connect, and I can kind of talk about some of the things that I've got going on here on the Urban Gardener, and be able to talk a little bit more about them than what we would discuss in an actual episode of the Urban Gardener, where we can kind of just get a little more behind the scenes maybe, and talk about some of that stuff. I've got some really fun things that actually happened on my trip. You know, I took a trip just the last couple of weeks and went down through Nevada and California, Southern California, and got to visit with some people and all of that. I'm gonna kind of wait to talk about all of that sort of stuff that I've got in mind or in store for everybody. So just some things for everybody to look forward to. And this next Wednesday, we'll talk a little bit more about some of the Southern California stuff. In fact, maybe that's something I can do right now. I will let you know just one thing about one thing, because what I'm planning on doing is hopefully having those episodes out hopefully this next Monday. So it'll be before this next Wednesday's stream. So maybe we'll just spend just a few more minutes here and I'll talk a little bit about my trip through Las Vegas. I went down to Las Vegas because I contacted a very, very popular YouTube gardener on YouTube. And if you've checked out any of gardening on YouTube, you've probably seen his face around and everything. He's very, very popular, the Mr. John Kohler. And he had done some videos with us before. We got to visit his house in Northern California when I was down at the Heirloom Expo. And or actually that was in the spring. I was down visiting with someone else at the time, and we ended up getting the chance to go by his house, and he did a video with us on peppers. So check out the in fact, maybe I'll put a link down below later or something, or check out the video list on my YouTube page and go check out that episode I did with John Kohler. He's just a really great guy, and he's just really encouraging. I'm just a small YouTube garden channel, and he really treats me like I'm just as big as he is, and he's willing to do a lot of stuff. I had just reached out to him and asked him, hey, you wouldn't mind doing an interview in Las Vegas. I was thinking about maybe making another trip that way if he wanted to get together and do a video. And within a day or two, he got right back to me and he said that it would be great, and was just really kind of excited, just as excited about doing it as I was. And so I scheduled it and scheduled a trip, and a whole bunch of other things I did as well after that. But kind of started with the trip from here in Southern Oregon down into Nevada, down to Las Vegas, and stopped off at his Las Vegas home, where he does some really kind of desert gardening in his backyard. And if you watch any of his videos, you're pretty familiar with all of that he does there. And so it was really cool. I got to go and hang out with him over a couple of days, and work with him in his garden, and get to ask him a lot of different questions and talk about YouTube and talk about gardening in general and all of that. And got to get my hands dirty in John's garden and help him plant out stuff and do some garden work. In fact, what I was mentioning earlier about the compost bins, helping him work with his compost tumbler bins and all of that. So it was really fun. It was really great, and he seemed to really enjoy getting to hang out as well. We got to do some really fun things outside of gardening and outside of doing that sort of stuff. We got to go and kind of hang out and enjoy some of the things going on in Las Vegas, which was really fun treat for me. I wasn't expecting a lot of things. I'll maybe talk about a little bit more about that coming up here this next week. About some of that stuff, but it was really kind of fun. Got to help him shoot a video for his channel that he should be having coming out here real soon too. So that was really kind of fun to get behind the camera. I helped him shoot his last National Heirloom video as well when he was at the expo. He needed some helping hand with holding the camera while he was around doing some of the stuff, so I offered to do that and got the chance to do that with him. So it was really fun to kind of get back together and connect with him and do an interview. We sat down and did a really cool interview, and he gave us a really cool little tour of his gardens and some things that he's working on at the time. So we got some of that stuff to feature, and then an interview. And then the next day, one of the things I was kind of like toying around with, but we didn't necessarily have the ability to do, was set up a live stream. I was hoping to be able to set up a live stream with him and maybe do a little discussion with him on his talk that he had at the National Heirloom Expo this last year. I thought some of the things that he talked about were kind of intriguing, and so I wanted to kind of have a little discussion with him and have him maybe dig in a little bit more about what he was talking about during that talk. We didn't end up doing it live, but we set up the camera and we shot it as kind of another little video. So it's kind of a bonus interview. So we'll have the main episode interview with John Kohler, hopefully coming up this next Monday. And then right soon after that, I'm just gonna put together and edit that bonus interview and kind of release that right after that too, to kind of go along with that episode. Because it was a really, really great time. It was really fun garden adventure to be able to hang out with the big guy, the big YouTube garden channel out there, get some advice from him as I'm just growing this channel and doing things here with the Urban Gardener, and he has some really good advice for me as well too. So I hope you all get a chance to enjoy that episode coming up too. So look forward to all of that. Like I was mentioning before, hit the notifications button and you'll get notified about when that video comes out. Let's see here, I'm gonna make sure Nancy says that her potatoes are sprouting. Yes, yes. It's always good news is to see them coming up out of the ground. Again, though, potatoes are always, you know, something else that you don't get to see what you get until the very end of the season, but it's always good to see them sprouting and coming out. I've got my potato bins I mentioned earlier. They're already starting to come out, so we'll have an update on that hopefully coming up real soon too, and you'll start to get to see some of those plants coming out in this new location that I put my potatoes in too. So check out that episode as well if you haven't had a chance to check that out, my container potato episode that we put out just a couple of episodes ago. And let's see here. All right. So it's a pretty cool little live stream for us to get started with right now. Kind of sorry, it just seems kind of like it went kind of haywire there. Just kind of having trouble getting everything set up to begin with. I wish that kind of worked out a little bit better. We were able to get off to a little better start than that, but like I said, we're gonna continue this conversation every week and hopefully get a chance to sit down and hang out with all of you guys and talk a little bit more about all the different things that we got growing on, different things going on in the garden, be able to kind of, you know, just have a general discussion, Q&A and whatnot, and kind of see where it goes from here. Maybe, you know, it'll evolve into something as we go along, but I really look forward to being able to just kind of connect one-on-one with you guys versus, you know, just putting out the episodes that I put out. I really enjoy putting together those videos too, so I really appreciate everybody who gets on the channel and checks out those different videos, and like I said, gives them a thumbs up and puts comments down there too. Comments are really, really important. Even if you're just saying hi, let me know that you're watching the episode, and let me know what you think. If you know, and I'm totally up for any sort of criticisms too. You know, there's certain things that I might not be doing quite right, you know, or you might just have some advice for, maybe, you know, like I said before too, you know, in general, you know, we're always trying different things to see how well they work for us in our gardens versus other people. So, you know, there just might be something that you might have as a suggestion or anything like that. We can always discuss and talk about those sort of things as well, you know, as the things growing on in your gardens too, because I'm really excited about hearing about what's happening with your gardens and kind of sharing those along with everybody else here who watches the Urban Gardener too. It's a chance for all of us to kind of hook up and talk and discuss things with each other, as Shelly and Nancy are doing right now, kind of getting to introduce each other to where they're from. And let's see here. Shelly says, I am new to your channel. Do you do a lot of container gardening? Well, yes. yes, I do some container gardening. In some way, you can kind of call my raised bed gardening container gardening too, because I do above ground raised beds. They're kind of stilted up wooden boxes, garden boxes I built up for my back patio, because I have a cement back patio, and so I want to utilize as much of the space as I can. So I built up some really cool garden boxes, and I grow, like right now I got some good greens growing out there right now, and we're kind of transitioning into some of the other things that I got going. And containers though too, one of my favorite things, and I just kind of pushed and was kind of pushing this episode yesterday, because it just hit 10,000 views. I've got a 10,000 view episode on my 5-gallon water wicking bucket system. And those are a container pot system, 5 gallons, and it's a water wicking system where you utilize 2 buckets, and the top bucket is your pot that wicks water from what the second bucket would be kind of your retainer for all of your water or nutrients and all of that. They're an excellent container to use for your urban gardens, and they kind of water wick. Some people call them self-watering, but I always kind of chuckle about that, because you actually have to add the water yourself before they can actually self-water. So they're not really self-watering, but you know, they water wick the water up into and through the planters, which is really works well in drier climates too. Really helps keep your soil moist instead of it drying out. Sometimes we don't get the chance to get out to our gardens as often as we like, and those containers really work out well. Let's see here. Hello, everybody. We've got East Mesa Urban Homestead. William from East Mesa Urban Homestead just got a chance to subscribe to his channel earlier today. So I encourage, if you all right now who are watching the stream and everything, click over to his channel, go check out what he's got growing on. I really encourage all sorts of growing and sharing. And if you're putting out a garden channel or a YouTube channel, I'm one of your fans, because I love when people take the opportunity to share and take that step forward and do that too as well. You know, sometimes it's not that easy to be able to get in front of the camera and to talk about certain things or discuss what you're doing, but those who do it and take that sort of thing on is really something encouraging to me. I really kind of enjoy that. So William is doing some cool things down in Mesa, and it's got his Mesa Urban Homestead, and he's got some cool things going on there. He's got chickens, which I can't have. I love chickens. I wish I could have chickens. So I'm going to be looking forward to checking out some more of his episodes on what he's doing with his chickens in his urban garden. So check that all out. Let's see here. Shelly says that's how she found the Urban Gardener, was through our water wicking bucket system video, which is really cool. I'm glad that video is doing so well, because it is bringing some people here to check out some of the things that we're doing here on the Urban Gardener. And, you know, so it's really cool, and I'm so happy that you're here checking out the live stream, and hopefully you'll get a chance to check out some of the other episodes that we're doing here on the Urban Gardener. And just really excited about, you know, building this community up and having more of you along with me, because it's just really fun to be able to share all of this and to get out and interact with all of you guys. It's just really great. Let's see here. William's getting a chance to say hi to everybody. And that's what's really kind of fun about doing this sort of live stream too, is it gives us an opportunity to kind of have a chance each week too to kind of get together with each other, you know, not just me on the camera, you know, kind of blabbing on about certain things and things going on my channel, but we can also kind of interact with each other, and you can kind of meet up with each other and talk about the different things you're growing on in your different gardens as well too, and hopefully maybe be able to create larger friendships right here through the Urban Gardener. And that just, man, that just makes my day, being able to see people connect and to be able to grow this just really wonderful garden community. I mean, I am really, you know, in a lot of this as I've kept going on. I started it was just kind of an adventure I wanted to see if I could do, but it's the community and these people out here in the garden world who are just so cool, so awesome. Every time I interact with people or I get a chance to meet up with somebody or do something, I just keep meeting more and more awesome people like yourselves. And it's just making this garden adventure I'm on even more and more fun. And I'm just glad to be able to share that with everybody and have the opportunity to be able to share with other people what you guys are doing as well out there too. I love promoting other people more so than I do promoting myself. Like right now, I'm wearing a t-shirt, Praxis 55712. I wonder if that, is that straight? Or to me it's backwards anyways. But Praxis, Ray over at Praxis 55712, this guy is one of my favorite people. Years and years ago, as I was just kind of exploring growing food and checking things out, I got onto YouTube, I found his channel, and at that point in time I was hooked. I was hooked on the whole garden community, the whole everything, and I got the bell notified for Ray at Praxis 55712. I always look forward to every episode that he puts out because he's just a really wonderful person, and he's a delight to be able to share time with when he puts his videos out. I really wish that he would do some live stuff so where we could interact with him there, but I don't know if his internet would really allow for that sort of ability for him to do that. But you know, I don't know if you all know Praxis 55712. Type it into YouTube. Check out his channel if you haven't. Love to send people Ray's way too, because he's just a wonderful person. There's so many people, and you know, like I said, every person I've gotten to meet so far has just been a really great interaction, and has really uplifted my whole experience in the garden community. And just so thankful for all of you people who do tune in and check this all out and kind of follow along with me, because it's just really wonderful. You know, big shout out to Nancy there too, who's in the comments and talking with everybody. She's just a wonderful person who follows along and comments on everything, likes everything, and just really gives me some really great encouragement to keep moving forward and to keep growing on here in the urban gardens and continue to put out these videos. You know, so it's just really great, really great. Let's see here, anything else here? Enter the contest. I'm going Abe Lincoln's. Abe Lincoln's. Are we talking about? I don't know, Abe Lincoln's. Are we talking about roses? I have a Abe Lincoln rose that I know of. So maybe it's something else, but I actually have Abe Lincoln in my, just right on the side, probably right on the other side of that wall right now, right outside. Let's see here, Growing Up Garden. What up, man? Nice job on hitting 10,000 views on a video. Year 2, you will have 1 million views on YouTube. Keep up the good work. All right, excellent. Growing Up Garden, yes. There's one of my favorite channels out there. I got to do and check out, see, talking about going back and checking out some other episodes and whatnot. Let's make that episode hit 10,000. But go check out Growing Up Garden. I did a cool interview with them and checking out their cool front yard garden that they grow for their kids and their family. They got some really cool stuff there. So I encourage you to go check out that channel as well. Just really awesome that you guys are here. So glad to see you join along with me. And let's see, your gardening community is a place to go to just get away from the crazy world. That's why I appreciate channels like yours. It's crazy. I disconnected away from a lot of certain social media and things like that because of how crazy the world is right now, and it's just too hard to kind of let that stuff kind of just get too into your mind and too into what you're focused on. There's a lot of important things out there though too you should be thinking about and understanding those sort of things going on in your world, but a lot of things just get kind of crazy. And especially in the social media world, for those of us who are on Facebook and, you know, Instagram and Twitter and places like that, you know, sometimes you can find some people just not contributing in the right way, and not making things very fun. And the garden community is one of those places where those sort of instances are just kind of rare. It does happen. I've seen some comments and some things that have happened on videos out there, but for the most part, we can usually move past that pretty easily, because everybody else who's involved with the conversation are really great people who are just, you know, out for the love of their gardens and the love of the community of people who love to garden, because just it's great, great, great community. I guess I just can't say it enough. Let's see here. Oh wow, look at this. We've got Nadia saying hello from Australia. Australia, wow. Saying hello from down under. That is awesome. Australia is a place I would love to go to. It's been one of my dreams to be able to make a trip and be able to go visit and see Australia. That would just be so wonderful. I bet you got some really cool gardens and gardening going on down there. Seasons just switched, so I think that you're just about ready to head into your winter, though, as we're working towards our summer. So that's gonna, you know, that's really interesting. And if you go and check out some cool garden channels and some people who garden and do videos from Australia, it's really kind of fun to kind of watch some of their videos that they're putting out, like during the winter time, so you can get some of your garden fix, some of your summer garden fix during the winter time by watching some Australian gardeners on YouTube. So I do that. I've got a couple of really cool channels I like to watch too from Australia. Self-Sufficient Me, Mark from Self-Sufficient Me. That's a really cool Australian YouTube channel that everybody should go check out. I can recommend that one for sure. All right. Well, it's really awesome to see we've got some more people here. I wanted to kind of make it a nice little short live stream and everything, but I think just as time is going on, we're starting to get more people who are connecting with us and checking out what's going on here. And it's just one of the fun parts about it. So I am really just want to kind of hold on maybe for just a couple more minutes and see if we've got any more questions or anything like that. Let some people kind of say hi there, and maybe just kind of, like I said, discuss just a little bit more once again about what I'm doing here on Wednesdays at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which would be 8 o'clock on the East Coast. And you probably have to Google it or check it out if you're somewhere else in the world like Australia to see exactly what time it is. In fact, what time is it in Australia? That'd be a good question. You know, so check that out and see when we'll be on. I'm going to try to make sure at 5 o'clock each Wednesday we get together and put together a live stream and just get a chance to kind of discuss some of the things going on. You know, and for me, get a chance to be able to talk some about some of the videos and some of the projects and some of the things that I'm doing. You know, maybe talk about some of the older videos and some of the other things like that, because that's something I really encourage people to do, once again, is to go check out some of those other videos and see some of the things that we've already kind of adventured on here in the Urban Gardener. I've got some really cool stuff that I've already done too. You know, we've been to a rooftop garden in downtown Portland, which is really amazing, which we got to make a really good friend, Mark Shea Colbert, who's been with us on other videos where we got to talk about seeds and seed catalogs and, you know, microgreens. He's got a cool microgreens operation we did a video on. So there's some really, really cool content that we've already done on the Urban Gardener. So this will give me an opportunity, maybe help talk about some of that stuff to some of the new people who are here with the channel, just getting started watching with the Urban Gardener, maybe encourage them to go check out some of those videos too, because you know, really cool stuff. I really want people to be able to check out some of those things that I've done. You know, I put together some really nice videos, and it's really neat to see everybody get a chance to see them and see what they think of them too. And for the most part, I think that as people are just starting to subscribe with the channel, as we're growing and growing every day, which is really amazing me more and more too, is that, I mean, just over the last week or two, I think we've gained another 100 plus subscribers. And for a channel that's at now around 1,300 subscribers, 100 is a lot of new folks coming in to check out what we've got going on here on the Urban Gardener. And I want to be able to interact with everybody through these live streams and be able to help encourage all of you who are just coming on board to be able to check out some of our cool adventures that we've taken on here on the Urban Garden. It's just really, really fun. I really enjoy putting these videos together, and now these live streams, which, like I said, will become a regular thing on Wednesdays at 5 o'clock. All right, so let's see here. What do we got? Nadia says Mark is a legend. He is a legend. I love Mark's channel. He's someone I've been watching since his channel was very small, and he almost gave up doing his videos. I was one of the people who was like, no, don't do it, because you helped me get through my winter time. I really need to watch you and your Australian garden, because you helped me get through my winter time and help me look forward to the things that I can get growing on in my gardens. And so I was really glad to see that he kept going and moving forward with his channel, and it's now just doing really well, and he's doing really great. And I encourage anybody who hasn't had a chance to check out Self-Sufficient Me on YouTube, and Mark is a great gardener. Let's see here. Hello. Says, come, I have an Airbnb, you can stay for free. Yes. All right. Autumn here, but temps till 22-26. We were at the beach swimming. You were at the beach swimming yesterday. Well, that is awesome. You've still got some more good weather time left in your season there too. That's great. Man, I'm gonna tell you what, I would love to be able to come down to Australia and stay at your Airbnb. It's a great invitation. It's one I'm going to mark down. And maybe someday here on the Urban Gardener, we'll get an opportunity to be able to make a trip like that and to really have some sort of really cool down under garden adventures. Could you imagine that? The Urban Gardener Down Under. That would just be a wonderful series of videos to be able to put up. So glad you could join me, Nadia. Thank you for bringing that to the live stream there, and coming to us from Australia. That's just so wonderful. And let's see here. Sandra says good night. Good night, Sandra. I hope you say that. Or thanks for stopping by and checking out our live stream. I really appreciate you coming by and checking that out. And you have a wonderful night. Nancy says, yay, Ray, I found you through him. Yes, Ray, one of my favorite YouTube gardeners at Praxis 55712. Also the Voodoo Garden, where he does some really cool indoor gardening stuff. Would love one day to be able to hook up with Ray too and be able to do a cool video with him someday. Maybe that'll happen someday. We'll see. Let's see here. Okay. East Mesa Urban Homestead says, I have been to Darwin. So you've been there to Australia. That's really cool. Excellent. Yep. My travels internationally have been really limited so far, but really looking forward to be able to do some really fun things coming up here soon that I want to be able to do. I'm in the process right now of getting a passport, so I want to get my passport all set up, and then I'll be all geared up and ready to go, and then we'll see what we can do as far as getting us somewhere really neat outside of the US, and to be able to put together some cool garden content from one of those types of locations out there. So I'm kind of keeping my eye out on different possibilities. I've had a few suggestions and a few things come up that I've been thinking about. So those are things that are kind of down the road a bit, but I'm kind of looking forward to be able to do. So that's really great. So here we are, we're kind of approaching an hour, and I want to just kind of limit it at that for right now, because like I said, this is something that we're going to be able to do each Wednesday, 5 o'clock. Join me, join everybody else who's going to come along with us and have a cool little garden conversation. not only about what I got going on here on the Urban Gardener, talk about some other channels, some other fun gardening things out there, talk about your gardens, just general Q&A type of things, just general discussion with other cool people who are coming along, and get a chance to like meet up with people like Nadia there in Australia and kind of have a little kind of side discussion about that. Those are the kind of things that we're going to be doing here, so nothing's really kind of planned. I'm just going to be plugging in and hitting the live button come 5 o'clock on Wednesdays, and be able to get together with you all and talk about some really cool gardening and everything. So I think that we will end this stream here. I'd love to thank you all so much for joining me here today. Hit the like button, go check out some other videos, hit the like button there, comment, let me know some of the new videos that you've had gotten the chance to check out. And I'll see you all on the very next live stream next Wednesday.